Hey, slash I do buckaroos, how the heck are you? I'm going to be Tom the Whiskey Whisperer for this video. So for the last video, I did two beers. Here I'm going to do two cocktails, but in keeping with the theme, in the last video, I did two beers from the same brewery. Here I'm going to do two cocktails using products from the same distillery. In this case, it's Republic Restoratives. The first one I'm using is their apple brandy barrel finished burro bourbon. It's at 92 proof. Republic Restoratives Distillery, outspoken, disruptive American. Again, there's a reason why I support Monocle Brewing and Republic Restoratives, because they're trying to do the right thing. From the neighborhood bars to the corner stores, the front steps to the blocks we call home, Burroughs built America. This particular one is finished in their own Chapman's apple brandy casks, and they are produced and bottled by Republic Restoratives out of Washington, D.C. So there you go. I want you to see that bottle. But I also used another product in this one. The craft cordials from Rocktown Distillery out of Little Rock, Arkansas. This is their ginger liqueur at 56 proof. Let me show you this. So here's what I did with this one. I used 2 ounces of that bourbon, 1 ounce of the ginger liqueur, and lemon bitters. And the garnish is torched candied ginger. I call this one Talk Spicy to me. I tried to get clever, man. Let me set that down for a second here. You know, instead of talk dirty to me. Yeah, we get it, Tom. We just didn't think it was funny. I hear that a lot, man. Let me see here. There we go. Now we're going. All right. Let me set that back down. Oh, adjust my camera slightly there. I know you know I'm not really in this little jazz club. I'm just trying to create a mood for the video, you see. Anyways, again, 2 ounces of the Republic Restoratives Burro Bourbon, 1 ounce of the Rocktown Ginger Liqueur, about 3 dashes lemon bitters, trying to brighten it up, you see. Oh gosh, that's delicious. And then the garnish is a torched candied ginger. Oh, that's delicious. So I've got this bourbon that's finished in apple brandy cask, and then I've added ginger liqueur and then torched candied ginger, then those lemon bitters. Wow, that is nice. Again, I call it Talk Spicy to me. Oh man, that was gorgeous. Fun with cocktails with the whiskey was fun. Fun with cocktails, man. Do love making cocktails. I do. At home, at work. I will admit I enjoy making some more than others. Too. But that's only because, well, one, I'm an old school guy. One, I favor spirit or whiskey forward cocktails. I'm not a big fan of a lot of fruit juices and other things added, but I understand that other folks like them. So I've kind of embraced the fact that I'm going to have to make them from time to time. For the last 3 months, though, the Manhattan's been my biggest drink at work, though. I've really been selling a lot of Manhattan. That's nice. That's very nice. You like that ginger liqueur, though, man. Oh, gosh, that is really good. So I was talking about my dinner in the last video. We're going to have sort of so it's more 70s casserole inspired beef stroganoff than traditional beef stroganoff. But yeah, I'm just kind of channeling those things and going somewhere in between, remembering the comfort foods that we grew up with in the 70s. A lot of casseroles in the 70s, right? Because you still had a lot of stay-at-home moms, but I think it was probably the first decade where you had to have a lot of working moms as well. It was starting to become too hard to raise a family on one income in the 70s, and a lot harder than it was in the 60s, which is why you saw a lot of crock pot meals come out in the 70s. Again, a lot of casseroles. A lot of really bad ones too. Tuna casserole. I mean, I still have nightmares about tuna casserole. For whatever reason, my sisters loved it, so they loved it. So we had it a whole lot more often than I would have liked. It was at least once a week, sometimes even more than that. God, I hated that stuff. I mean, tuna itself is bad enough. I mean, that's all we had was that crappy ass canned tuna back then. But hot tuna is just disgusting, man. I don't understand those folks that can eat a tuna meal. That is just beyond disgusting. But tuna casserole, oh my God. Canned tuna, canned cream of mushroom soup. Can you imagine the sodium that was in that dish? Anyway, and a lot of, as I was kind of channeling that 70s version, the 70s version used canned cream of mushroom soup, which I didn't use. But I was using the idea. I'm using just ground beef. I'm not using a good beef as would be traditional. I was kind of channeling that old school casserole, just doing a slightly better, less sodium version of. So I did make my own mushroom and beef stock. I just take the stems off the mushrooms and then make the mushroom stock. And I sliced and sauteed the mushrooms down. So it's not quite the 70s version, because the 70s version just used ground beef, cream of mushroom soup, heat it up, toss it over some noodles. That was disgusting. But I like the idea of it, right? So that's kind of what I'm doing here. We had a lot of crappy ass stuff in the 70s, man. Everything was a jello mold in the 70s. Oh my God. Yeah, I feel like it, and I could be wrong, but from what I saw from my perspective in my family, and then again in other families in the same neighborhood, it seemed like it was the first decade where you had to rely on two incomes more than one. You know, this wasn't Ozzie and Harriet anymore, where the wife just stayed home, wore a nice dress all day long, cooked and baked, and was really happy when the husband came home. No, the 70s wasn't really like that. But yeah, to me anyway, because I was born in '65, it seemed like it was the first decade where you had to start relying more on two incomes than one. That's why you start seeing a lot of crock pot meals, a lot of casseroles, if you will. Not that they didn't exist in decades before that. I'm not saying that, but it just seemed that they became more prevalent in the '70s. One pot meals, things that were easy, things that you could put on before work and then have dinner when you got home. I think it's the '70s when that really started being more noticeable, I guess. Anyways, that's from my perspective. That's what I saw in my family. That's what I saw in my neighborhood in Southern California. It might have been different in your neck of the woods. But I do remember seeing a lot of moms that hadn't worked all of a sudden getting out and having to work. I do remember seeing my parents were older than most of my friends' parents. I do remember seeing some of the younger folks in the neighborhood, younger couples, I guess, in the area, raising their kids a lot different than we were raised, right? Because they were always already starting with two incomes. It seemed like the days of one income were gone by the time you got to the mid to late '70s. Anyways, that's just what I noticed. Again, that was just from my perspective, from my neck of the woods. It could have been very different in yours. Talk spicy to me. Yeah, one of the reasons I wanted to do the lemon bitters, right? So if you grate fresh ginger, you're gonna get those spicy notes, but you're also gonna get those lemony citrus notes. You can get those aromatics, which is why when I torched that ginger, those spicy notes really came out. So I wanted to add those lemon bitters to just brighten it back up. But I will tell you, I've had some big name, or maybe not big name, the names ginger liqueurs. I will say, let me say that. This Rocktown ginger liqueur is the best ginger liqueur I've ever had in my lifetime. It is insanely good. And the creme de cacao was the best I've ever had too. Most of their their line is just crazy good, man. So I'm just about finished with cocktail number one. I'm going to jump off camera for a hot second, be back with cocktail number two. Bear with me. So this next cocktail is one I really put a lot of thought into, not just in how I put it together, but even how I served it, right? The glass it's in my old Lives Matter glass. So it's served straight up, which means I have it very well chilled, but I'm not using any ice and there's no residual ice. But I was kind of have so what I had the idea of the idea of a Manhattan, but not a Manhattan, right? So a standard Manhattan is a rye, sweet vermouth, and your standard bitters. A perfect Manhattan is your rye or bourbon. You can use bourbon and an equal mix of dry vermouth and sweet vermouth. So I wanted to have the idea, but take it in a slightly different direction. That's why I call this one I was looking at an almost perfect Manhattan, but then to put my own spin on it, I'm calling this one, but I digress. So the spirit I used for this one, right here, seeing that, is my Purpose Rye. For again from Republic Restoratives. Both of these are from Republic Restoratives. This is their fuck around and find out version. It's yeah, baby. It's a single barrel, aged 5 years at 100 proof. This whiskey is just insane. It is one of the best ryes I've ever had in my entire life. It really is that good. 5-year-old 100 proof rye. So I used that rye. I used a Dolan Bianco or Blanc vermouth. So 2 ounces of the whiskey, 1 ounce of the vermouth. And then I went classic, right? I didn't want to use Angostura, but I really love this Peychaud's because I keep them around when I want a Sazerac. So I used the Peychaud's bitters to take it a different direction. And then the garnish is a torched candied orange to really, caramelize the sugar, bring out the aromatics. That's why I call this one, but I digress. Oh, God, that is delicious. You would never know it's 100 proof bourbon in there. This is so easy to drink. And I was thinking about doing a Sazerac, but I have a few of these candied oranges that I picked up from Trader Joe's a while back that I need to use up. And I also have some candied mandarins I may do something with later. But with a Sazerac, you don't leave the garnish in the drink. So I'm struggling with. I'm trying to do maybe a different version, make a Sazerac-like cocktail, right? Do everything that was, Sazerac-ish, but then leave the garnish in the drink. Anyways, but I love what the torch orange added to the cocktail, right? The caramelized sugar, bringing those oils right to the surface. It just changed the game for me, anyways. Oh, man, that's good. That's really good. That's a cocktail I'm gonna definitely make again. So I'll roll the other one too. The ginger I really like. But this one, wow. I've got enough Blanc vermouth for one more cocktail, so I'll probably kill it this evening just to get it going. Which is mainly the reason that I put this cocktail together because I'm trying to get rid of stuff. In purge mode, trying to just get rid of stuff. I'm trying not to buy many things anymore, trying to get rid of some stuff. Originally, it was just so I can stock up again as I got closer to our birthdays. But then my wife and I are taking a larger trip than we anticipated on later in the year. So I just want to kind of get rid of stuff. Not going to buy anything for a while. Right now, I've got four 750s that opened and 2 375s unopened. So I've got the equivalent of 5 unopened bottles. I'm going to try not to buy anything until we go on our vacation. Then I'll bring some stuff back. But yeah, right now I'm kind of in purge mode, trying to get rid of some stuff that I've had for a while. Some stuff I've had as little as a few months, but there's a few things on my bar cart that I've had, a couple years or longer. And again, I want to make it clear I'm not a collector, right? I'm not one of those guys that wants to buy a whole lot of stuff and have, either not open it at all or just open it once and have a drink. No, once I buy something, the intention is to finish it. But some of this, I still have some stuff from our Columbus vacation a couple years ago that I know I really need to finish. So there's a few bottles that I've taken to friends to help finish off. Well, there's a bottle I can see right now that I'm really bummed about. I'm right near the end of it because I was trying to finish off, but they went out of business just a couple months back, and I'm really bummed about that. It's from Fox Trail out of Rogers, Arkansas. I picked it up back in August of last year. I wasn't familiar with the distillery at all, but then I think it was back in March, they announced that they were closing their tap room, and then a couple of months later, they just folded completely. I'm really bummed about that because the product was good. But it just shows what a tough business that it is. Anyways, I digress. This is really good, man. Again, that fuck around and find out rye, that purpose rye is just crazy good. And then that adding that Blanc or Bianco vermouth, and then your classic Peychaud's bitters. Anyways, I digress. Let me wrap this up. Man, that is one delectable cocktail. That is one delectable cocktail, man. I don't care who you are. Anyways, I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor, wisdom all around good guy. Lunch you. Thanks for tuning in, folks. I appreciate it.